For today's webinar, we're going to talk about dynamic real estate ads and how to use your listing inventory or an inventory of listings to draw in local buyers to your website and keep them coming back. My name is Cameron Laird. I'm a product director in the marketing services department here at the marketplace at Inside Real Estate. And with me, I have my panelists. With me, I've got Annalisa and Katie, who are helping me with questions as we go through today. So they'll be there manning the questions, make sure that you're getting all of your answers as we go. And that's what we're going to talk about. So I'm going to go over this a couple of different ways for you. I'm going to start off by showing you some of the basics that you need to understand about these types of ads and how you can go about building them. And then I'll get into showing you how to build them a little easier using some tools that we have at Inside Real Estate. So the key to today's, or one of the keys of today's concepts, there's actually two key concepts to keep in mind for today. But the first thing I'm going to share with you is talking about lead form ads on Facebook, because these are super important and they're the basis of how we're doing our advertising for your listings today in this demonstration and through the description of this product that we're going to talk about today. But what a lead form is that you can see the ad on the left-hand side of the picture. You've got a lovely picture of a listing. You've got some details about that listing. And when somebody clicks through that, they're going to be directed to a form that will be pre-populated with information from the person's Facebook profile. And the nice thing about these ads is that they are, because of the lead form and the pre-population of that form, it makes it that you get really good contact information from a high percentage of people who are clicking through on these ads from Facebook. So to compare that against how you would normally do this in another format is you would click on an ad, it would take you to a web page, which then you have to register and you're off of Facebook. That website might not have your contact information, so it makes it difficult. You have to think about it. Do I want to provide this information? In this case, it's pre-populating that information. When they submit and they go through to see the details about the listing, it's all passed along to you automatically. And it's very, very low barrier of entry for somebody to fill out a lead form. So this is the first key concept about this advertising that I'm going to share with you is these lead forms, because these are really important to everything that we do when it comes to real estate advertising on Facebook. So what should I expect about lead forms and the type of leads that I get? The types of leads that you're capturing through a lead form tend to be homeowners and renters who thought your property or your advertisement looked interesting on Facebook. So this is a very passive type of advertising in the sense that somebody is on Facebook, they're doing something else, they're scrolling through, they're doing things, looking at pictures of friends and family, maybe sharing vacation photos. They see your ad, it looks interesting to them, they click through, their information is populated, and then they land on your website to see the details behind it. So as a result, when we talk about these types of ads, the follow-up tactics that we need to take with these leads need to be fairly low pressure, providing value for a long period of time, and a good percentage of these will convert if you follow this sort of like low pressure, value added type of methodology to following up with these leads. So that's to say that these leads, in comparison to something like a pay-per-click ad, which is a very high intent in that somebody is searching for a very specific type of property in a very specific location. These are much more passive in nature, tend to have a little bit longer lead time, but are really good quality because you have a solid contact record from them. So that's the first thing I wanted to go over, is talking a little bit about the lead form ad. The next concept that we're going to talk about are these dynamic real estate ads that are based on your listing catalog, that create these ads that are optimized for real estate inventory. And inventory is a key word in this concept because we're talking about having a large number of listings, or a fairly large number of listings that are used to create an advertisement that is dynamically updated and tailored to the audience based on a couple of different elements. The other thing about these ads is that we use a pixel to track people who have either already visited your website or have visited your website through one of these advertisements that are already sort of in the market or have shown some interest in real estate, in order for us to create an audience of people that are going to get some value out of the advertisement. In addition to that, based on the listing inventory and based on what people are looking at either through the advertisement or when they land on your website, we're actually able to create an ad that tailors that to the individual user with properties that are similar to what they've already viewed. So what they may see on the first time they click on this is, or they're going to see the ad, the first time they click on it may be localized to their area because you're a local agent to them. But then when they start looking at it and they're actually clicking through and they're looking at 4-bedroom homes in a very specific neighborhood, or bedroom or homes with very specific attributes like size, price, etc., those things will actually help to update the advertisement and retarget those people so that they're seeing the ad again, but with more tailored recommendations in terms of what they should see. The other thing about that, like I mentioned before, is that this is a very unique way of targeting people because of the inventory that is based on that the ad is based upon. Okay, so this is all using what's called a listing catalog, and I'm going to show you how to build one of these listing catalogs very quickly. But then I'm going to show you also some other ways of leveraging this to get these advertisements up and running for you. So with that, I'm going to sort of switch gears really quickly. I'm going to go over to Facebook, and I'm going to show you very quickly where you're going to go and what this looks like. So for those of you who aren't familiar, we're in Facebook now, and we're using what's called Business Manager. And Business Manager is a tool that you use in Facebook. You can create an account very quickly if you want to create your own your own ads or that kind of thing. You're going to use Business Manager. And within Business Manager, I'm going to use a tool called the Commerce Manager. And in Commerce Manager, I have the ability to create what's called a catalog. So we can see here, I've got my catalog. I've got, there are some issues with this because it's a demo catalog that I've created here. But basically what I've done is I've created a catalog that has some items in it. And those items are actually listings. So what I do with this is I go into Facebook, I create myself a catalog. I'm going to link it to my business page. And the way that we get listings into that is we can use a file. And Facebook has the ability for, they have a template for you to download. And it's a really simple file for yourself that has, the important thing is about this is all the headings. So what I've got here is I've got one specific record in here that has a listing ID, which typically is going to be your MLS ID or something unique that identifies that listing. I've got a name that I can fill in with a description. The availability I can set up here. I can put it if it's on the market, if it's coming soon. You set your price. You can have a link that's going to land onto your kvCORE website. Then you provide details like the address, the city, the zip code, the state, etc., as well as some other attributes. So there's this long file. And if you can take your listings and export them from, whatever system, from your MLS or what have you, you can do this. You can fill this form out. And then what you do is you upload it into Facebook, and that creates a catalog that has listings within it. So this is sort of like the basic mechanics of what we're going to talk about today. Once I've done that and I've got my catalog, I'm going to go back to my overview. It's very simple for me to now create advertisements that go along with this. So I can go in here to where it says reach more customers with dynamic ads. I can click on this, and I can now go and create an advertisement that is based on this. I'm going to create it on my own ad account. And now what I'm doing is I'm doing catalog sales. I can have different different awareness, and I'm going now through the lead generation type of form that we're used to doing when we're creating our advertisements manually. There was a question here, but where did I get the spreadsheet?
Oh yeah, thank you. Yes.
Yeah. So the spreadsheet actually is something you can download from Facebook. I'll provide a link to where you can download that. But when we go a little further into this, I'm going to show you another easier way to do this because I'm going to get into some details in a second that will show you that there's actually a little bit more to this than just sort of uploading a file. But that's sort of the basics of it. Is there is this ability to create this catalog using that upload file, but the downside of that is that you're now keeping this up to date on your own. So without going into some like heavily technical details, configuring a connection to some other system using an API or something to that effect, you're basically going to be keeping this up to date with your listing inventory by uploading that spreadsheet every week or anything like that. So that's just sort of what I wanted to show here is sort of the basics of what we're using. It's using this whole concept of your commerce manager within the business manager. From there, you can go in and create your advertisements based on that. And that's going to take us to where we want to continue on with this conversation. So I just wanted to show a little bit about that because it's sort of some key foundational pieces to help you understand how this works. But it can get tricky. Even if you've done this tons of times, it can take a little bit of effort. It takes some knowledge. It takes some know-how. And it's going to take some practice for you to get this up and running. And for all of us on the call who are in the real estate business, that time is valuable to you to be spending with your clients. So I want to present a different option for you, which is an easier way to go, which is to use the new product that we have here at Inside Real Estate, which is called Get Buyer Leads. So this product is based on the concept of the catalog-based listing ad that we just talked about, but we're taking care of all the dirty work for you. We're taking care of the hard stuff. So just as a recap here, what this provides you with is a dynamic advertisement that is kept up to date automatically that is showing local buyers a targeted selection of listings from your company. So it doesn't have to be your own listings. It can be any listings within your organization based on the MLS. We will pull that data into these advertisements, and we keep them up to date for you to make sure that you're seeing all of the leads are going to see all the latest and greatest. Properties that are no longer available will be removed from the catalog. New ones will be added. Changes and updates and photos and all that kind of stuff will all be kept in sync so that you don't have to worry about going in and doing that stuff and using Facebook to do that. The other point that I like to make about these is that these are really engaging ads. For anybody on the call today who's used PropertyBoost in the past, PropertyBoost does get some really good traffic. We get people clicking through, really good lead volume, low cost per lead coming in on those. But these ads are more engaging because there's more for the user to see. So they're not just looking at that one property that may or may not be a hit for them in terms of what they are using, in terms of what they're looking for. It's showing them a much wider variety of what is available on the market, which means they're going to swipe through and they're going to see many more of these listings before they click on them. So you're actually capturing their information. It becomes more of like a more engaged shopping type of experience right from the ad, because as you can see from the image, you're not only seeing one image, but you're actually able to swipe through these and look at all the different properties that are available, and it's presented to them in a very nice way. The other thing about this, and this comes back to the automation like we talked about before, this is a set it and forget it. So this is monthly subscription. So you can set this up once and it'll keep running month after month after month, and it'll be automatically kept up to date every single day with all the latest and greatest inventory. So there's really nothing else for you to do beyond just setting it up the first time. We take care of the rest for you. Like I mentioned before, you also get that retargeting. So when people are viewing the listings on your website and they're looking at very specific ones, we're actually going to be showing this ad to them again with more targeted type of information in terms of the listings that they're actually going to see in the ad. So it's going to keep showing this to the same people and get them to come back again and again. So there is a question here I'm just going to answer, which is, can you do this for residential rental listings and commercial listings as well? My answer to that is, as long as the listings are in your company's MLS feed, they will be eligible to be displayed. What you won't be doing is targeting, you can't just sort of say, I want to only show rentals, for example. It'll be all of the listings, not just specifically the rentals. It's basically based on the entire inventory, not just a specific subset. But if they are in that feed, and I'll show you how to look at this in a second, if they're in that feed, then they will show up on the ad. Okay. So I'm going to just quickly show you a little bit about this before we go further. I'm going to go into kvCORE really quickly. So I'm just going to stop sharing for a second while I switch gears. Because I want to get into kvCORE because I want to show you where to go to check out what listing inventory is available to you. So 1 second here, bear with me a moment while I just get in there. because I closed the tab before the webinar by mistake. All right, cool. So here we go. Where's my Zoom again? Okay, so I'm in kvCORE, and in here, I'm going to go into the listings. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to filter this down to company listings. So this is where you're going to go to see what listings would show up on this ad. So I've got in here 8 pages of ads. There's a whole bunch of them. 79 different listings that are all listed inside of my company on my kvCORE system. So all of these listings will be eligible to go into the advertisement. And what this will do is like I said before, is the ad will actually take these and present them to people based on their geography. And then once they start clicking through and viewing these, they'll actually see it again, but it'll be targeted with more specifics to what they looked at on your website. So this is where you're going to come and look. It's going to show you all of the different listings that are eligible. And again, where that shows up here is you're going to be looking at the agency listings. That's where you want to see it's listings that are in the company. That's what you want to filter for to see what listings are eligible. So back to presentation. So this product is all set up for you. It's ready to go. Subscriptions start at $500 a month, and that's going to get you a pretty substantial ad spend that's going out on Facebook to display these ads. We do require a 3-month commitment because there is a little bit of a ramp up time. And from that, you're going to be, getting, the ad out there. The pricing tiers, the benefits are basically the amount of ad spend. So the higher the price point, the more gets spent on advertising and put into the campaign, which just means that you're basically reaching a wider audience. So the more that you can spend on your ad on a daily basis, the more that you can actually, the higher you can bid to get more eyeballs on your ad. So that's really what you're doing is the more you spend, the wider the audience potential that you have. On the left-hand side of the screen, you can see sort of a little GIF animation of what these ads actually look like and what the user experience is like. They're going to see these ads. They can scroll through them. They can click through the different listings. And every time they see this and then they click on that little learn more button, it's actually going to jump them out to the lead form that they will fill out, like I showed in the early stages of the presentation, that it will automatically capture their contact information, name, email address, and phone number that will be sent through to you right through an integration that we have with Facebook so that these are coming instantaneously in real time right into your kvCORE system. I'm going to go back to kvCORE really quickly because a question that I often get about these is, what should I be doing with these leads when they come in? And the best thing that you can possibly do is make sure that you're reaching out to these people quickly and trying to start adding value to them right away. So once they get your leads into kvCORE, the leads will actually be targeted. They'll be tagged with a source and a hashtag. I don't have any leads from this particular program in my system today, but I do have an example. So you can see here with this one, you're going to see KV seller paid. In this case, it's going to be KV buyer paid, and you're going to have the same hashtag. And then what you can do is you can start actually automating kvCORE to do things for you based on the campaign based on the ad that's going out. So if I go into the marketing section here and I go into smart campaigns, what we want you to do is to think about using the smart campaigns to reach out and automate what you're doing with these ads to get in conversation with people right off the bat. So what I would suggest is doing something similar to what I do with PropertyBoost, which is having a contact go out to them automatically within the first 5 minutes. That gives them a very simple, recognition that you received their information and making sure they got the information they were looking for. What this is geared at doing is creating a conversation that starts off of that engagement. They've gone online, they've clicked on some listings, they land onto your website, and from that, then it's going to be you're sort of acknowledging what they've said, and you're offering help at any point. So from here, you're at least reaching out to them. This can actually start conversations where you'll get a text message back. I'm just looking. That can get you into a conversation of, do you have a home to sell? Are you looking to buy? Are you in the market? Are you working with another agent? But really what you're doing is you're trying to get that initial conversation going. They've clicked on something, they've looked at some information on the website, and within 5 minutes, they've received an email or a text message from a real person. So that's what we want you to be doing, is using this to create a campaign that at least reaches out to them and gets it going in the first few minutes. From there, you can do all sorts of things. You can leverage that hashtag, or you can leverage those sources to actually create a number of different things in the smart campaigns, where you can reach out to them. You can email people. You can create a brand new mass email. My gosh, I got to close this out. And reach out to people with based on the information that they provided and based on the campaign they've come from. So that's just a really quick thing that you can do with these ads the leads coming in from these ads. There's questions here. Do I have any data on return on investment in this program? Not yet. This is brand new. This hasn't been out for very long. So it is brand new. We don't have data at this moment, but we've been running this. We do see some pretty good results in terms of cost per lead is fairly low. If you use PropertyBoost as a general, a general idea, it's similar in terms of cost per lead to PropertyBoost, maybe even a little lower. PropertyBoost sits at about $7. Is the national average for the cost per lead there. This is going to be the same or lower. Typically, we're getting a higher volume of leads coming through from these, but I don't have hard numbers to quote at this moment because it is so new. And then the next question here is, do we choose a 15-mile? Yes, you can choose a 15-mile radius. And then we're working on some things to further limit the listing inventory that's going out based on that. But right now it's we're using that to target the audience based on the zip code there. Okay, so this might be well and good for people who have a good listing inventory, but what if you don't have any? We do have solutions that I want to sort of go over for people as well, which, if you don't have any listing inventory, you're a new company, you don't have an MLS set up that has listings available to you in your company, you can also look at the Facebook AI and retargeting, which is a little bit more of a static ad. It is an easy button to sort of get out there and get an advertisement going for you on Facebook. It does leverage that Facebook lead form, so you're going to get the really good contact information from that, but this does not use listing inventory. So if you want to get out there and have something running that will generate some traffic and get people coming to your website and get started without a listing inventory, this is going to be your alternative if you don't have any listings available to you in your company. And you should get a really good balance with this in terms of lead quality and quantity, again, because you have that really good contact information on these. These ads look a little different, so you may be familiar with this if you've seen it before, but this is sort of what they look like. They're a static ad. They sort of invite you to come to your website, view all the homes that are available for purchase in a specific city. Again, based on the zip code of your choice, we do targeting based on that location. And then Facebook uses their algorithm to make sure that it's getting in front of people who have a propensity to purchase, the demographic. It's a different type of product from what we're doing with the dynamic ads, because it is much more static. But if you're looking for an option that doesn't require listing inventory, this is the way to go. This product's a little less expensive. It starts at $250 because it's it's a little easier to build these out. You're probably going to see $5 to $10 dollars per lead in most market. Again, a 3-month commitment is required on this as well. Now, somebody asked about the ROI calculation before, and I wanted to take you through this example because this applies to no matter which product you're using for your advertising. But what you need to do is look at about a 1% annual conversion rate on online leads. This is what NAR will tell you, and all of the sort of the online research is telling you that is the average conversion rate for online real estate ads. So what that means is that for every 100 leads, you're going to get one that is going to likely to be a transaction for you. So if you assume the top end here at $10 per lead, that means you're going to have to spend 100 times that 10 to get a transaction. And if you were to assume that your average transaction, the average price per side is around $200,000, and you assume a 2.5% commission, that means that for every $1,000 you spend, you can expect that $5,000 in GCI coming from those transactions. So this just sort of gives you a way to look at putting yourself into an investment mindset when it comes to advertising for your real estate business, and how you get that return on investment from that. So no matter which product you use, if you look at what your cost per lead is, and you assume 1% of all of your leads that are coming in are going to be convert to a transaction, this kind of gives you an idea of what the return on investment will look like down the road. Okay. Last but not least, it behooves me to sort of go over PropertyBoost as well, because this is kind of like the single property single property type advertisement that you can leverage. Even if you don't have any listings of your own, you can borrow listings from other agents within your office or within your company. But this is another great first step to get into online advertising with a lower investment if you want to go that way. So PropertyBoost is really simple. It just takes a few clicks to create ads. They look like the one here on the right-hand side. You get a nice hero image of the property, some really basic descriptions of the property, and then when you click on learn more, it's getting that lead form there as well. Again, no complex setup here. Everything is fully integrated into kvCORE. These ads are continuing to be optimized. So as they're running, we're always making sure that the best version is running. And these are great because you can also include your seller's information, so that they're going to receive a performance report of the of the ad and how it's doing. So you're really sort of standing out and showing your value to your seller as well. So this looks really great in your listing presentations. If it becomes part of your marketing program, you can go out and put this in there and say, hey, this is what I'm going to do for you. I'm going to get your ad in my marketing system. I'm going to create advertisements just for your ad and get people, local buyers, looking at it. But at the flip side, it really brings in good lead generation for you as well. I mentioned the fully automated. PropertyBoost starts at $60 for 1 week of advertising. So that's what's going to get you there. 7 days of advertising for one single property. Really, really low barrier of entry. You're going to see leads, cost per lead, probably around the $7 mark, depending on where you are in the country. But that's the national average is sitting at $7. A lot of places see it lower than that. Some places see it a little higher. But you can scale these up to run for as little as 1 week and as many as 5 if you want to use PropertyBoost as a good listing advertisement product as well. And with that, I'm going to open up to see if there are any additional questions, and then I'll address those as we go. So I see a question here. Can I create an off-market listing, or does it have to be on the MLS? So for PropertyBoost, you can create a manual listing inside of kvCORE, and then that can be boosted. I can show you how to do that in a second. But for the dynamic ads, it needs to be coming from the MLS. It doesn't take into consideration any of your manual listings that are not on the market. It has to be through the MLS for the dynamic ads to work. There's another question here I see. Do I have to have the team website package, or a single agent website package is okay? Yeah, single agent website package is just fine. So you don't need to worry about that, as long as you have a website that is one of our pre-templated kvCORE websites is the caveat there. If you're using a third-party website through WordPress or something like that, these advertising products don't apply to you. This is just for templated websites. And then there was a question here about, is there a token for a smart campaign, and what does the hashtag look like? So I don't have a specific smart campaign. I was just sort of doing a little bit of a poke into that, but the hashtag is always going to be, depending on the product, but for the dynamic ads, it's going to be KV buyer paid. That's going to be your hashtag. Makes it really easy for you to identify those. Going through the chat here to see if there was any questions that were missed. So this is a really great question. How long should we keep the ads up, or are we paying for them daily? So that's a really great question. And I get this question a lot in relation to the 3-month commitment. So if we go back to a, the Get Buyer Leads product, which has a 3-month commitment, we suggest leaving these up for as long as you can, or as long as you're seeing results from them. 3 months is the minimum we ask, because it does take time for the algorithm to learn and to start to get some traffic coming through to your website that then is going to be retargeted again and getting that lookalike audience up on the on Facebook. So we do require a 3-month commitment on our subscriptions. And that's why, is because it does, we want you to sort of give this a little bit of an investment, think about it in terms of what the ROI will be in the longer term, and run with it for that 3-month minimum. And then there's another question here: will we be setting up any sort of ad system for seller leads? We do have one, actually. That's a great question. So inside of the marketplace, and I'll just sort of give you a quick tour of marketplace here to help you with that. So I'm back in kvCORE now on my screen share. I'm on my dashboard. I'm going to scroll down here on the left-hand side to marketplace. That's going to take me into where you're going to find all of these different products. And if you click on Get More Leads here in the filter box, it's actually going to filter this down to all of the ad products. So in here, you're going to see Get Seller Leads, which is the complement to the Get Buyer Leads program. This is a little different. Again, it's similar to the Facebook AI, but what you'll notice in the difference of this one is that it is the call to action is different. It's not focused on showing people listings. Now what it's showing you is it's showing selling in city. Check out this free detailed home value report to find out how much your home might be worth. When you click on learn more, it actually takes you to a form that is on your website where we ask for the address and some details about the home. And then that lead comes into your database. This one starts at 500 as well. Although it's similar in nature to the Facebook AI, it does have a higher base package because with seller leads, they are more difficult to generate and the cost is a little higher on those leads. So we want to make sure that we're getting ample spend going through, which is why you have the $500 minimum on that one. Also here, you'll see the Get Buyer Leads. Excuse me, which is where you're going to be able to learn more about that. You can see the information that we talked about today. This is where you're going to go and sign up. All you need to do is click on select website. That's going to take you to a form that you fill out. You purchase the product. It's going to be pre-configured with your website and take you into getting that ad up and running. PropertyBoost is here as well. And then there's Facebook AI and retargeting, which is that same product that we talked about there. So all of the advertising products are all going to be found underneath this leads button on your kvCORE marketplace system if you haven't been in there before. Okay. Do we have any questions that I didn't go through, Nick or Katie? I think we've got to.
One just came in about running listings specifically within a certain price range band.
Yeah, so for your dynamic ads, we maximize the listing inventory to be all of the listings for the company because Facebook does take that and will use that to automatically retarget people who click through. So it's not intended to be a listing specific type advertising program. It's more about bringing in overall buyers and they'll look at the listings that they are interested in and then be retargeted. So we don't have there's no limitations on the listings that go into the dynamic catalog. But that is a great question. Okay. Can a company firm buy and send to certain agents? Yeah, so great question. Can the company or firm buy and then send to specific agents with lead routing? Absolutely. So if you are a team leader or an admin for an overall company, what you're going to do when you're buying the product is you're going to select your office website from the drop-down box. And then based on that, you can set up lead routing inside of kvCORE to send any of those leads into like a round robin pool, for example, or I can't remember the other terminologies, but you can set it up where you can use lead routing in kvCORE, but the leads are coming into the office website or the company website instead of to a direct agent website. Absolutely. Great question. And that applies to all but PropertyBoost in terms of the in terms of that question. So yes, that's a great question. All right. Well, this has actually been a really quiet group today, but really good questions as we've gone today. If there's any last questions that I haven't answered, please drop them in the chat or in Q&A. But this has been a really good session today and really great questions. So last call for questions. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your attention today, folks. Where do you find your company website? So if you are the company admin, you will see it. I'll just sort of demonstrate really quickly for that question. So I'm just going to go into get buyer leads here. When I click on select website, there's a drop down box right here. Because I'm an agent in my configuration, I only have one website. But if you're a company admin, in this drop down box, you'll see multiple multiple listings, your own website, as well as probably your office or your company. You'll see multiple listings. This is where you're going to select it. So you'll see that company website in this drop down box. And then when you click on the website and it takes you to the purchase page, it'll be pre-configured for you. So that's where you're going to find that. Otherwise, you may find it up here under websites in your profile. I only have a couple websites here, but you'll be able to see all of the different websites and what their status is up under your profile in kvCORE. Okay, great questions, folks. Thank you so much for your attention today. If you missed anything today, this is will be recorded or has been recorded, and it'll be sent out to you in the next couple of days by email, and it'll be posted on our YouTube channel for you to review if you want to go back and look at it again. Thanks everybody for your time and attention today. Always a pleasure talking to you, and look forward to seeing you on the next one. Thanks everybody.